Good afternoon, everybody. RT here with Hxro Labs. Just double checking that we are live on everything. Good afternoon. Good to see you guys on this somber, bearish day. I've got the cream chart up here, but I really should have Bitcoin, which is just tapping this trend line here on the CME. As you can see, I mean, it's pretty much what I expected. Unfortunately, not great for the bulls, but that's just the way it goes. I mean, we getting roasted? Yeah. Yup. Basically getting roasted today, way she goes. Now, if you guys tuned in on Friday, you heard all about my bearish bias and the potential NEO trade that I was looking at. And I guess we'll start there because it was a banger. And I'm actually out of it now, which might age very poorly. But it's an interesting thing. So it was a scalp setup. I mean, I was short from right here. You guys saw in the 15-minute. This is actually the Bitcoin chart. I should go to the NEO. Let's do this while we get a few people rolling in here. It might be a quiet day. We'll see. Because sometimes on days like today, there's a lot of people in the market that are just like, turn everything off. I just can't. And that's okay. If you guys are out here with me, appreciate it. So good to have you. And we're going to get after it today. We're going to find some opportunities. I'm telling you right now, the markets are not going anywhere. Volatility is usually good because that means you can capture the movement with a trade. Flat markets are the death of money, not the volatility. So this is not a time to look away. Even if you're balls deep in things that are going down, that's not great. It doesn't feel good. I've been there. But we can think of strategies today and ways to manage and mitigate risk going forward. So I'm going to get after all that with you guys today in a nice, easygoing, cool, smooth jazz Monday. Although I don't have my music running today. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Thing wouldn't start up. I didn't change a thing. Turn it on. Not picking it up. Is what it is. Maybe it's just meant to be a silent Monday. So we'll get after it here. Look, hey, we got 19 guys in. Excellent. Yeah, use the short button. Look, yes. Have a Hey says time to deploy Tether soon. I would say anytime is a good time if you see a bearish pivot. But like, I actually, full disclosure, let's go back to Bitcoin. I did Tether fairly heavily. Actually, like last night, I did the last of it because I just saw this like little shit dump here and this weak ass bounce, and I just thought, I actually had asks to get short on leverage here, didn't hit, but I did get rid of my Bitcoin, just go to Tether, and I actually bought it back here today again just for a bounce play. I think you guys probably know from watching what I've been doing, like I see a higher time frame pivot coming in, and it's not going to be a straight line, and it doesn't mean we have to go there today or next week. The GAN 50/50 points to like 8,100 for the election day. I think that would be reasonable. I've seen these hit a lot. I would not be shocked. And would it be that shocking just to have a big old shitty cleanup of the market? Because that's what it is, right? Between here and here, imagine how many people just sell, capitulate, get out. Well, I was wrong, lost money, and then it's just rinse and repeat. And do you think the whales, the players, the big old fishies, do you think they care if price moves to here for a few months? They're probably pleased with that. They're probably distributing the shit out of it up here. This is their trade. We just play in it. So those are my thoughts. Not to get all bearish on Bear Monday, but I mean, I've had this chart up here for a while, so I'm not going to get too apologetic about it. Now, this is what I want to talk about first. We'll get into the NEO trade after, because I do want to talk about that. Instructions unclear. Jones is messing with Nick here in the lobby. Now look, the writing was on the wall for this one, folks, unfortunately. And we've been covering it and talking about it, and there's just only so much you can do. I was pretty sure that this was not going to age well, this move up. Even I feel like today I'm like, should have been shorter. Why didn't I go shorter? I'm pretty much entirely tethered, but I didn't make any money on that. Had a decent NEO trade on, missed my short on Bitcoin. So whatever, I shorted it through NEO. But look, we had this big dump, right? That was the wake up call. That was the long weekend. Everyone's like, holy shit, this is not a bull. What the hell? It's supposed to be going up. So this, and huge volume coming in. So this was like is that a trend reversal? Then consolidate, hang out. This breakout was pretty strong. Not a ton of volume, but a good chunk. But then look at this. We just rose up slowly, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. And where are the bulls? None. Lower volume, lower volume. And I got confused when I first started doing TA. People used to say volume is so important. It's such an important thing. And I never fully understood how to interpret it and read it. But now 2 years in, I get it. And it's incredibly valuable because price will do something. Go up, go down, whatever it's going to do. And the volume will tell you a story about that price movement. Is it real? Is it to be believed? Is it strong? Is it weak? And this was clear as day. And I tweeted something out to that effect right here, in case anyone's like, it's easy to do after the fact. Well, right on this move up, where were the bulls? Holy, like, we have to zoom in. Was there anyone buying? Or was it just bears, you know, smart money just pulling their sell orders for like a day so that it shoots up, washes out all the shorts, makes everyone buy saying, well, we're going to break out Bitcoin. And then it's just, nah, probably not. And look here. This was the volume on that move up. Niente. Nothing, right? And so that is an incredibly powerful signal. Subtle. Most people don't look at it, apparently. Like I think a lot of fairly savvy TA guys do, but I was surprised at some of the accounts I was seeing on Twitter even just being like, wow, we're breaking out. And I just thought, fuck, man, really? The bears are in control of this entire move. Look, higher sell, higher sell, higher sell, higher sell, tiny little buys, price trickling up into a reload short zone. I don't know. So yes, my conviction today is increased because I've been confirmed. And all I thought about this morning is like, oh, nice short. Oh shit, should have been shorter, because it just, in retrospect, like, what a sweet little trade. So that's all it is, just a trade. It's not, it's not like calling tops in the market is going to pay the rent. But I think this one had the writing on the wall. And so look, we're down into this sweet spot tag, right? It's just more consolidation for now. This isn't the big drop, if we're going to have one. That was not it, believe it or not. And so now the question is, can I do all that shorting that I perhaps wish I had in some kind of move like that? And then, right? Or invalidation, and I was wrong. That happens too. So we'll see. But this is what I'm watching for. So I actually did buy my spot long. I'd love to say I snapped it on the sweet spot. I did not. I don't even think Bitcoin hit the sweet spot on Binance. I don't think it did. So doesn't matter. I entered my spot position again on Bitcoin. Again, just for like an intraday bounce. Let me find my little intraday chart. Here it is. So flip over here. This is the Binance one. And yeah, so just grab this 786 just now. Like, look, I could see us just continuing, sadly. It wouldn't shock me at all. This is a hard, like this, again, this was the coming out party, end of the trend. And this is like confirmation that it was in fact that. So I feel like the sell the bounce is cat's out of the bag now, and it's going to be like a race to do that. So it may just not get up there for a bit. However, I could also just see us printing a doji here. And for those of you who don't know, a doji is an indecision candle, sometimes considered like a price reversal area, and it just looks like this. Wow, hard to draw just a tiny line there, but it basically just looks like that. So price kind of just goes everywhere, but then closes right where it opens. So if we were to see something like this, this is sort of what my spot re-entry is suggesting. And then on the other side, a bar back up. So like we came down, put a little doji, next bar is up, ideally all the way up. Like that's your bull case. So keep an eye on that on the 4 hour throughout the afternoon and evening. I don't know. Like I certainly wouldn't just rush to long here. I think I waited like weeks to get that short set up, and it was sick and it fired. Rushing on hour 12, day 1 to like call the reversal, risky. So again, I just re-entered spot here. I've got my stop at this low. If we can get up into here, I'll be less concerned with having no Bitcoin. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Whoa, we're on the ES all of a sudden. What happened to that? So yeah, Legacy's fallen off. Accidental run in there. Pushing up on the arrow key goes to random charts. Probably on my watch list. Okay. So that's sort of the quick thoughts on Bitcoin today. Make no mistake about it, folks. This is very likely, probably, a bearish pivot in the market. And that's going to hurt everything. That's going to hurt all the shit coins. I don't care what catalyst a coin has in the next month or two. You know, there's usually one or two that rally through whatever. But is there value in trying to find that? I'm very comfortable sitting in Tether, you know, working on analysis, learning new things, getting into some scalps on my futures account, trading with the trend, which for now still hasn't fully confirmed bear. I mean, I think it has, but you know, you're gonna say, a lot of people are gonna say, okay, so we broke into range, we're coming to test that breakout, and here's the real decision level. So, you know, technically, and that's kind of why I bought my spot back here, because I saw that, okay, there's still something here. If this breaks down, I'm happy to, you know, stop loss here, cut it, get out, and just enjoy the next few months sitting in Tether, thinking about shorting the bounce. All right, buy the fucking dip. Great. Make a lot of money doing that in a bull market. But as soon as you're into a bear trend, sell the fucking bounce. That's how you got to do it. And it's hard to do. And the quicker you can switch your mentality so that you're not just buying the dip, getting wrecked, buying the dip, getting wrecked, buying the dip, getting wrecked, selling this bounce worked out so far. And I think that's the season we're into now. Sadly, is what it is. Good news is I'm not going anywhere. Nick's not going anywhere. We're going to be here each and every week going through this, thinking of ways that we can make money in the market, because you can make money both ways. You can just preserve capital, which will put you 90% ahead of the rest of the world, because they often do not. Yeah, how can you look at this without your eyes bleeding? And I agree. It's bloody ridiculous, I say. So, you know, it's not fun. It can be. I could be honest. It can be. So let's go to NEO. Let's talk about the fun stuff, because this short set up beautifully. And if anything, I don't want you to watch this and just be like, well, you know, I missed it and it's just annoying to look at because I'm wrecked today. I mean, that's one attitude you could have. I would recommend, let's use this time to just dissect this trade. It's just one trade. You know, everyone can make a good trade once in a while. I made this one. And I want to help us understand, let's look into it. Why the hell, you know, what was the thesis on NEO? Because this shit's not the, you know, it's not the last time this is going to happen. This is a setup that we can find many times. So for starters, Nick and I down here were bullish on NEO. We both longed it. We both closed our long. Just to give a context, okay? Somewhere down here, we were in and out. And then Nick messaged me the other day. He's like, if we weren't such idiots and noobs, we would still be in our NEO long. And I was like, yeah, man, that sucks. And then I was like, well, should I just sit around and forget about that chart because I missed that trade? And then I charted it up. I did all this. And then I was like, oh, look, it just came into this level. Sorry, you can't see that, but we'll zoom into that in a sec. It's like, oh, look, it just came into this fib extension 2.0, kind of front run this level. So I usually wouldn't look to short till it hit all these. But then I went and checked the Bitcoin chart. And look at this. I mean, you guys see this with me all the time, right? We just blast into this fib extension. Didn't quite hit the chaos level, but we're right into this old resistance, which was already written up on the chart from here and here and here. So we're just at this level where I'm like, if I was in that long, I would take profit. In other words, I would sell. So can I find a reason up in here to just take a short, get a fresh position? Because typically, you guys have also heard me say this, I wouldn't just rush to take the tall candle and say, I'm going to short it because, you know, it's gone up a lot. But there was an objective here, big profit objective. And if you zoom in, you will see an absolutely gorgeous rising wedge with all the markings of failure. Pending doom. So here you have the rising wedge into resistance on bearish divergence on both the RSI and the MACD. I think it was the 15-minute. Get a little cleaner look here. Yes, so you have the bearish divergence, right? That means this is still going up, but it's weak. Higher highs are getting really weak. The momentum is non-existent. The volume, not that inspiring. I mean, there wasn't a ton of selling yet, but there wasn't like new, bigger buy volume. So you want to see, when you have rising price, ideally you want to see rising volume, more buyers, more buyers, more buyers. Holy shit, what a strong uptrend. This was not the case. If anything, from here, the volume was falling off. See the huge volume in this breakout, but then it was just like, meh, bulls fell asleep. So looking at that, I'm thinking, well, actually there's a low time frame short opportunity here. So I'm shorting up against these highs. But how do you do that? It's not random, right? It's these fibs. I'm telling you, it's these darn fibs. So it was actually right here on Friday, and I was sweating. It's not like it was easy the whole way through. Just ask Nick. He was on the call with me. I was like, bro. And so let's just walk through this real quick. Because, again, this is a trade setup that we can now look for. You always hear people say, like, trade your setups. You know, find your setups. This is one. This is one right here. So you find that weakness at the target objectives, like to the long side. And then there was this breakdown. Whoops. And I'll actually just put it on replay. So I got up there and I saw that rising wedge, and then I saw this little fail, which on a 5-minute is an actual little M top, right? So you had, again, this was like crazy because there's a high time frame location, but on a low time frame you could see it come in. So you had the higher high. Oh no, it's going to new highs. Nah, momentum's failing, non-existent volume, not too strong. Okay, this breaks it down. So that was my signal. And now I'm on the 15-minute and I'm looking for this location. So we'll watch. So as price comes down, I'm just like, okay, well, that's definitely looking pretty weak. I'm going to get short up in here. Short RLZ comes in. So I've got my ass working. And look, because it's so tight, I mean, I can risk right to this high. Now, because NEO was so bullish and it has some DeFi project coming up next week, I didn't want to just risk to this exact pip because I just thought, you know, it's so often that that just gets swept and comes down. So I actually hit it. You can see over here, $26, nice round number. I'm going to hide my stop loss on the other side of that round number because that's just where a lot of people, like whatever, markets just like to stay on the south or north side of friendly numbers, round numbers, just a human thing. So in general, like if I'm going to buy Bitcoin at 10K, on a dip, I'm going to buy it at 10,001 or 10,010. You know, you just want to kind of, I always hide behind numbers. So there you go. $26 was my stop. And I mean, this was crazy because it went way into profit, then came right back to my thing. Then I'm actually down underwater. So you got to just kind of have your plan and stick to it. And it was right here. Actually, on the 5-minute, it came up twice. I remember I was watching it live. So right here came right up. Oh, maybe only once. Yeah, I thought it was twice. Anyways, comes right up. So again, this wasn't an easy trade on the micro time frame I was trading it, but then obviously once it breaks down, I can just relax. I actually moved my stop loss. At some point, I moved it down to this high. So yeah, we're gonna get into Link and some price targets. And so now you're rocking. And actually, and this is probably a mistake that I made, is over trading it a little bit, where I've got, I think it was here. Yeah, coming into this RLZ. So I'm closing some of the trade and looking to reload it again. Because once you drag this to this new low, you can get up in here. So in this case, it worked out, but a lot of times you can overtrade yourself out of a nicer higher time frame entry. So this breakdown kind of confirms the move, chills out here, takes some profit so I don't give it all back. And then if I can get short in here. So over the weekend, this actually did come in. We'll move up to the 15-minute, get a little speed on this. And the point of all this, again, is let's learn from this trade. It was one trade, but it worked well, and it's something we're going to see. I think this whole shorting the bounce, finding strength to short in what may be a midterm bearish trend. So over the weekend, we squeezed right back up into this short RLZ. And as this lower price came down, I had to then squeeze, like take my fib down there. So it was right up to here. Thought I got a full reload, but we'll see. Yes, I think it was Sunday came in. Lots of chatter in there. Producers going wild in the chat. Got to make sure that I keep track of what we're all charting in a little bit. Rough patch or sell at a loss. Yeah, so here comes up into the short reload zone, and it like learn these fibs, guys. Actually, which way is it? Right here, we're going to add a card after the video. Just a quick 1-minute thing that I made on how to drop a fib and play with it. Start playing with these guys. If it's like the simplest one tool, if I ever had to recommend one tool, It's just price action just plays off these things. It's crazy. So close part of the trade here, move stop loss to break even, totally risk-free. Then add back to the position up here. So that's like, okay, if I'm going to get squeezed, I want to get back in. And now it's just off to the races. I mean, absolutely sick. So I'm pleased with that. I did close it. So, you know, in a month or two, I might be like, I should have been in it. But on the higher time frames now, there is still a trade. So let's zoom even further to the 1 hour. So this was today coming in hot. Now we're into this larger time frame RLZ. And, you know, I don't think this trade is done. I mean, this general short idea on NEO, if we're into a midterm bull, even if it's going to be a month or two, you know, this thing probably comes down into here, consolidates a bit, probably squeezes back up into here, probably rolls over. Like, it's just this zigzag, and you can draw it up with these fibs. It's sick. So, yeah, that was how I captured this move today. I did not get it on Ethereum or Bitcoin. And again, back to Friday, because I just felt like NEO was more overextended. That is to say, like, you know, if you're feeling bearish, you know, Bitcoin had already kind of rolled over, ETH had already rolled over, but NEO had just made new highs. So if I'm feeling bearish on crypto, then find the one that's at its highs, and that just happened to be really well set up on both the BTC pair and the USD pair. Okay, so let's get after some coins. I'm sure there's some people here, they're in some positions. I've got a couple of shitty little altcoins that are just in, you know, my hold port. Probably make up like 8% of my portfolio now, thankfully. So, you know, I get it, and they're underwater, and let's do some charts. Because if this is going to be midterm rollover, for example, like right here, here's your Bitcoin dominance chart. So if this closes above this white line, I mean, this is like the old resistance, but this is new market structure now because of this high and this high. So if we close above here today, that's going to be the signal for a midterm shift with altcoins and Bitcoin. And I say that like we'll be into this risk off window, just like we were here, just like we were here. And some altcoins rallied through here, little bits here and there. There's definitely, you know, movements in the market. But as far as like larger trends where you can just kind of buy, hold, and get loaded, that's going to stop probably for a little bit. And so it is what it is. It's just good to know. And so in this case, you know, it's not going to just go straight up, but I do think it'll hit this trend line. And along the way, there will be some volatility. So, you know, if I'm exiting an alt position to hedge out, get back into Bitcoin, tether, whatever I want to do, not really good to do it on these days. You want to do it on those days, right? Catch it on the dip. So we can look at that a little bit on some of these charts, because after a really volatile day like today, I mean, again, the Dixie looks pretty good, although good friend of mine, outstanding trader, 30-year vet, he's saying, cool your jets, this thing might be a fake out. So I tend to side with him on that, like trend lines in general, he says. And as I've been taught, you know, this does not mean the trend is broken. What you really want to see is this. So you'd want to see like market structure on the other side of the trend line. So shout out to Brian Beamish, because I agree with him. And if that's the case, and the Dixie doesn't just shoot up here like it looks like it will, right? And we've just got this big bullish structure confirmed, another little one in here, and there's all this room, like it looks very bullish right here. And if that's the case, then we are going to be in for a little turmoil. But in the meantime, we can absolutely find reasonable ways to manage and mitigate risk, and reasonable ways to make money. And we might make less, you know, might, like right now, personally, if I'm taking a long on things, I'm not risking my usual 1 to 5%. I'll probably risk like 0.5%. Just reduce the risk, right? It's not no trade zone. It's a risk off zone. So just less risk. You know, you want to start loading on the longs and really going for it. You wait for these windows. When we start trickling back up, what's the point? Protect capital. There will be, promise you this, there will be another bull trend. So if this is the end of this one, don't go blowing your load trying to force the market into the direction you want. Let the market do what it's going to do. And right now it's telling us it wants to cool off. All right. Ramble complete. Let's get after it. Okay, Link. First up on the docket. Link. I hope you guys appreciate these rants. If you guys do, hit us with a like, hit us with a sub. I'll be in here, like I said, every Monday. Actually, special surprise. Next Monday, I have a special guest coming on. A guy by the name of Scott Melker, who you may know from Twitter. What is it your kids are using these days? Twitter. So he is going to come on the show, and we're just going to chat and hang out and talk crypto. So that should be pretty cool. And the week after, on Monday, we got Wendy O in the house. She's going to come on and talk crypto with me. So stay tuned on Mondays for sure if you want to see me chatting with random other analysts and traders. And Nick will be on Wednesdays. I believe he's got some stuff cooking up as well on that front. But we'll let him tell you about that on Wednesday. Then Friday we're going to be on. Yeah, Scott's coming on, so that should be really fun. I'm glad you're excited about that. I am as well. And okay, I am so rambly right now. Let's get into the link chart, guys. I don't know why it's got no ink. Where's my link ink? I had a whole bunch here prepared for today. A little scattered here. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So I should have. Yeah, there it is. What? Nope, that's Neo. There we go. A little bit of ink. Okay. No, it's probably because it was on USD. There we go. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know where the hell that went. So we've got Link. Again, writing was on the wall. We talked a little bit on Friday. Confirmed here. Didn't even get the retest. I mean, this stuff was really overextended, guys. And you can tell because we're not even, it's not even like, oh, buy the dip and it gets us into the short RLZ like I like to get. It's just not even hitting the breakdown point, which, is a weak. It's weak. It's not great. But we are at a sick level. And I was saying to Nick before the show, if I was into DCAing Link, this is actually where I would probably start that journey. Right here. That would, like, if it was up here and I was like, oh, don't FOMO, I'm just going to wait. This would be where I put my first of like many buys if I'm trying to average my way in. So it's at a pretty strong level. So we've got previous breakout. We've got 618. So this is just a level though. There's three real parts that I want to look at when I'm going to get into something. Location, which is where it is on the chart vertically. So this is a decent buy location. It's certainly the best one it's had since the beginning of August. But I want it to be coming into this location on bullish divergence. So, and it is. So look at that. So we have the MACD made a big fat low. But on this one, even though price came down lower, the MACD is actually making a higher low. MACD basically is it's a moving average indicator. So it measures the distance between two moving averages, one of which is an average of the other moving average. Look it up on Investopedia. It's a little confusing to say in one sentence, but it makes a lot of sense when you read about it. So in other words, the histogram here measures the distance between these two averages. So see when there's a big fat gap, you get a long, deep thing, histogram. The gap got wider and wider and wider. The histogram went deeper and deeper. Right here, they're basically right together. The histogram is like non-existent. That's when it flips from bull to bear, right when they cross. Flips from bear or bull to bear down here, right when they cross. So that's what the MACD is. And in this case, it's telling us that as Link came down, the MACD made a higher low. In other words, internally, there's actually a slowing to this down move. So we are probably coming into an area, because even in a bear trend, you get week-long bounces where everyone goes, see, I told you, you should have bought the dip, bitch. But then it's just a bearish retest and it's more. And then it's here. Then it's more. And then when everyone's lost all flavor for buying the dip, there's going to be us on the live stream, spotting the breakout, getting in, riding it all the way to Valhalla. So this is the kind of shit, it's not exit all markets and chill season unless you just have a full-time job and a family and you're not really into trading and you just want to wait. There will be a time. But it's just probably closer to sell the bounce versus buy the dip season. That's how I feel. It's my vibe. So, but to really sign that off, I need to see us lose this level. Not that I'm cheering for that, but I'm just saying that would be like, well, fuck, officially now, right? So we already put in, and this was actually, I don't know if any of you guys caught this. If you guys are interested in how to spot trend reversals, I talked last week about putting out sort of new sort of TA 101 info. And so I put out a little 6-minute video on Friday. It's very light, like it just scratches the surface on types of charts and basics on spotting trends and then trend reversals. And this week I'm going to do a follow-up to that, which we'll get into a little more nitty-gritty, which we're talking about on Link, which is where you get into spotting where to look for trend reversals. For example, I'm not looking for a reversal in trend here. I'm waiting to look down here. I'm waiting to look down here in this gap, so using location tools, and then what I look for when it's into those zones, like divergences, momentum indicators, turn-ups on the OBV, stuff like that. And then the third video, which will come out next week after, that'll be really on the trading setup. So a little bit like what we're talking about today, but in a little more detail and specific to probably one chart like Bitcoin. So I hope you guys appreciate that stuff. DS, I really appreciate you saying that. That makes me feel good, gets me fired up. And we just want to put out more and more and more. And that just gives us a little library to refer to when maybe a concept on the show is, not fully covered, and you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? What is that MACD? So I'll make a little video on MACD or something. So yeah, thoughts on Link. This would be like a first DCA. Now a DCA, dollar cost average, I still think it's early, but the thing with dollar cost average is you don't have to be right. And that's why it's such an effective strategy. And I think that somebody dollar cost averaging into their favorite crypto, Bitcoin, Tether, Link, ETH, whatever, they're probably going to outperform 90% of traders in the next year or two. If you see a big bull market coming. So you buy some here. Oh, bounced. You buy some there. Every 2 weeks you're buying. Okay, you bought some there. You bought some there. You bought some there. Bought some there, right? Bought some there, whatever. And those 2 weeks go by. And your average cost is wherever. And so that's the idea with dollar cost averaging. You don't need to know where price is going to go and when. You're just like, every week I'm going to take $50 out of my paycheck and I'm going to put it into Bitcoin. I think there's even some platforms out there that'll do that in a sort of automated way. So that's what I mean with DCA on Link. Like I might, if I had $1,000 I wanted to put into Link, I might put $50 of that here. Then it's like, $50, whatever. Drops down, sweet. Get my next one cheaper. Drops down again, sweet. Beautiful. You don't get wrecked. And if it takes off without you, well, it didn't because you already bought some. So that's all I can say about Link. This is not like a sell the farm, go long, because there's no sign of bulls yet, right? You want bullish backers for your positions. You want to see the buyers step in. And I can tell you right now, right on this chart where we saw that last time. Whoops. So let's see. I mean, big buy volume, buyers stepping in, catch that RLZ, you're good. Well, this was just a little bit crazy. But you could see buyers stepping in here, supporting price, buyers stepping in here, supporting price, buyers stepping in here, right? And after each one of those moments, price went up. Sellers are stepping in here. Fuck that. I'm gonna wait. So my 2 cents on what this will look like, because look, tops come in very quickly in markets. Bottoms, they take a while to form. Sad face, but it's true. So is this thing, the probability of this coming in and then just going like this is very, very low. I would say it's just not going to happen. I like to stay away from guarantees, but that's just as close to a guarantee as I can get. It's just not going to be like, whoa, you missed it. It's just not going to happen. But what we probably will see, is some of this kind of stuff. This is like really ugly way of doing it, but, and it's just going to be this. And these are like 3-day, 4-day swings, right? These are going to really rip people because they're going to get bullish. They're going to buy in. Sorry, not time yet. They're going to, I missed it. Buy it. And it's just a washing machine. Consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. And eventually we'll break to a new high. We'll get a little retrace, and then we'll take off. And if I'm thinking about the FA kind of in the world right now and around the world and all this crap, end of year tax selling, September, October generally just being brutal months for assets, US dollar maybe having a little rally, COVID wave 2 kind of talk, the election, all those things tell me that I probably have till January before I really deploy the meat of my dry powder. And that's boring as hell. That's not good. That's not good for engagement. What are you talking about, RT? But it's just is what it is. So what can we do between here and here that will keep us productive on the up and up trajectory in life as traders, as investors? Because, you know, turning your brain off during a bear market or a bear trend is not going to get you ready for the next thing. So personally, I went to trade school and I learned all this shit I'm teaching you right now over the last 2 years during 2018, 2019. So over the next 3 months, we'll be on here talking about things that I'm doing and you can do to either make money in the market or preserve capital or just enhance ourselves so that when the next opportunity comes, we're sitting here ready, hardened for battle and making the most of it, while a bunch of other randoms see this thing breaking to new highs and then go, oh, look, we're back. And then they buy our bags. Because that will happen. Almost certainly. There's an army of people waiting to buy this, but they're not going to buy it till it hits new highs. We're going to be buying the stink. But we're not just going to buy it randomly. We're going to buy it once we see buyers step in and it turns around. Let's get back to a few more charts. Got no one on Tradingview today in the chat, so let's look over to YouTube. AION. Okay, we're going to go a little turbo. I'm getting a little... Oh, I know. AION. Shouldn't have to look at the spelling, but there we are. Huh, yeah, first Bitcoin. And this sucks because this is one I'm really bullish on, I think, into November 15th. You know, all things aside, as far as looking for stories, because even in, like I said, even in a bearish trend, you can find some little shiny lights. This is one that has a big event coming up. So let's take a look. I put it in this idea here. And it's got 54 days until the 8th inning, which is basically the TRS contract that distributes all their tokens on the back end to team and community members originally and all that. That's going to stop. So the supply, the new supply is going to fall off fairly intensely. And that should totally shift the supply-demand economics. But this is ugly. I'm not buying that. Not a chance. If this goes to new lows, that's going to be really unfortunate because this bottom took a long time to form. Let's say it really came in July 2019 and took till January 2020. Like this was a 6-month. Remember I said bottoms take a longer time to form. So losing these lows would be extraordinarily unfortunate for AION holders, myself included. But it is what it is. The market's going to do what it's going to do. I wouldn't rush to sell my bag here. I would certainly be selling if I lost these lows because then we're just into, I mean, I'm not going to sell. I have a small bag, smaller by the day, small old free bag from like 2018 and it's just staking right now. So like, I'm not saying I'm going to sell mine. That'll just sit in my staking thing. But if I was holding some, maybe trying to, you know, go like gung ho against these lows and buy some, I would not hold below these lows because then you're into negative price discovery. And zero, while it is right here, where's zero? Right here. There's a whole world of downside in the midst of this small little space, right? It gets exponentially larger as the downside gets smaller, right? So like a drop from $1 to 50 cents is 50% drop, but then a drop from 50 cents to 25 cents is a 25-cent move. It's another 50%. And it's a 12-cent move is a 50%. So yeah, not touching this if it goes there. If you're DCAing and you're just a big fan of AION, this is a sick level as far as just, you know, we're right around the POC, we're right around the VP very low, we're right at the lows. I mean, if you're ever going to gamble, it's funny how many people will buy these at resistance just because they're like, oh, I know it's the future. It's going to, you know, why not do something crazy like that right here? I don't know. I'm not going to myself. I'm going to wait for a little something. Let's zoom in. Maybe there is already. Let's zoom in and see if there's any signs of good news. Not really. Yeah, like MACD is still making lower lows. So is the RSI. Maybe the 4 hour. Reaching its straws here. Okay. Look, okay, so like, for example, you've got the MACD making higher lows. Maybe there's something here after all. Boom, boom, boom. So MACD is making higher lows, so price keeps going down, but MACD is actually kind of waking up, except for right here. So again, it's early. I don't love it. If we break back above here, I'll be interested. So actually, let me make that alert. Is that 863? Because this is one, again, with November 15th coming up. I think that is one of the few kind of narratives that could actually trump the gravity of the market if we're in a somewhat of a downtrend. Something like 1/8 inflation cut. So like they're cutting 7/8 of the inflation. The inflation is going to drop by a significant amount. That could actually outpace some kind of bear trend if we get into one. So I really do want to get long on this, but I'm going to wait for that alert to fire at least. And we'll see. I said I was going to do these quick. There is no quick when it comes to RT's Monday rambles. Let's see. WNXM. Never actually heard of this coin, so that's exciting. Totally new. Totally new to me. Yeah. So again, like if you're a staunch bull, then these lows are like a gift. Because you're just like, you know, and it's funny because it's like this is where people think the sky is falling. This is where you get all the sellers. When in fact, traders like myself are just looking at these, like even up here, I'm just like, man, I'll wait for the RLZ. And they often come in. Almost all the time. Like it's like a gap. It's like it's just a matter of time. And you know, I say this all the time, but you don't want to fall in love with an asset. If you fall in love with one, cling to it and say this is going to be the one. First of all, you don't know. Sorry, but you just don't. Neither do I. So there's what 6,500 names. You found the right one? I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure MySpace investors were really excited when that went off and pets.com, but you just never know. So spread it out. And if you don't fall in love with this coin, then, you know, going up here, I don't care. I can just hold it on and say, I'm going to buy it if it comes to me. Perfect example of that on Cream on the weekend. I'll show you guys. So, yeah, I mean, this is, again, it's at a sick level, right? So as far as like, because of my higher time frame bias right now, I am not going to just rush to take these lows. It'd be a sick play. But how high would you have to get to the 4-to-1? So 4-to-1, that's the 4 here. And that just means that I'm getting 4 times as much. If I risk 15%, I will gain 60%. So like I only have to be right, what, less than 25% of the time? I don't know that exact math off the top of my head, but very little. I could be very wrong a lot of the time, but it'll eventually pay off if all my setups are at least 4-to-1, which in crypto I like to do. A lot of traders will say nothing less than 2-to-1. I would say for sure that. A lot prefer 3-to-1. I like to go even spicier and just shoot for 4-to-1s. My win rate could be 30, 40%, and I'm still making money or breaking even. And obviously aiming for a 60% win rate anyways. So that's just me. So yeah, this is a sick spot. If we put in a doji here, the 4-hour does have bullish divergence. So like this is what you want to see. You got sliding down into this nice location. The MACD is slowing down. The RSI is not. So I prefer when those two agree with each other. In this case, the RSI is just making newer lows. We're oversold. So depending on your strategy, if it's long term and you're saying, you know, this is one that I really like, hell yeah, DCA time is on dip days like today. $50 out of 1,000, whatever, 5%, you know. And just start banging in the little nibbles, as we might call them. So my thoughts on that. Cream. Let's do a quick chat on Cream. I actually got a sick trade on this one this weekend, totally by accident. I swear to God, I did not know that they were going to burn 60-something% of their supply. And I bought it because, again, same thing. I've been talking about it for a while. Like, I'm just going to wait from like the $70 to $100 range. Like when it was up here, I was like, I think I'll just get that. Some guys are just like, oh, you know, hell no, it's not going down there. And I was like, that's cool. It may not. But if it does, I will be waiting. I won't be wrecked, and I'll be ready to get long. And I didn't long it here, and then it bounced, and I got a little nervous. I was like, fuck. And then it dumped. I was like, okay. And then I just saw it consolidating here on the weekend. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to go buy like my first DCA. So I bought a decent little bag. And I swear to God, like 8 minutes later, it's pumping. I was like, oh, that was good timing. What the hell? You guys do that in the trading pit, you apes? And then I realized they announced that burn. So on Binance, I kind of FOMO'd in at 133. Now here's a bit of a lesson that I learned on the weekend. I actually did have a sweaty Saturday night because I was with my girlfriend doing other stuff. And I had to look at this. So I did FOMO in. It's like I was already long on it from that little buy, but then I bought some more at 92 and 88. And then it just was going up, and it was like, oh, the 65% burn, it's going to be 3x, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, fuck it, why am I not just going crazy? So I bought another almost equal to these two up here. And then I go out, I played tennis with my girlfriend. We're getting out, we're sitting in the car, and it's up here. And on the lower time frames, like on Binance, this was just like looking like death. It was just like a big slow, losing momentum, no volume. And I'm sitting in the car. I was like, oh, babe, like this is up a lot. This is dope. And I have a rule where I don't just trade while I'm out doing other stuff on my phone. And so I was like, yeah, I'll check it out when I get home. I should probably take some profit. And we're at the grocery store 10 minutes later. It's like, oh. So that Saturday night, I'm just like, I think we'll get that short RLZ bounce. And so didn't panic. Didn't freak out. These bags were still up. I think on the whole, I was actually closer to break even, but obviously hugely down from just an hour before. But look here. Here it was. And so waking up Sunday morning, this was my exit. And, made a pretty little profit there. So, you guys see these fibs all over my screen, but there's a reason for it. Because, you get the big pump, you get the big drop. You're probably going to get that slow, lazy ass move up into the short RLZ. You can watch this bearish market structure come in. And look, I wish I could short this thing. All I could do was sell what I had, which is a short in itself, but I couldn't take margin on it because you got the breakdown and you even got like a sweet little retest. And these things are so fractally. Oops. They're so fractally. I bet there's even a short reload zone in here. Yep. There it is, right on the sweet spot. I mean, am I getting through to you guys yet? It's these goddamn fibs. They're sick. Pick your locations on fibs alone, and you will outperform a monstrous large number of people. And it's one tool. It's all you had to learn. I mean, you definitely want to learn a few more, I think, but at least the fib. So, this was actually my exit, but I would have had a chance to exit here once I waited for confirmation, but I was already pretty sure that it was just... because this is a nice announcement. Oh, big token burn, this and that. But it's not going to sustain, and this is weak-ass stilt material. It needs to get filled in usually. So, yeah. That was my Saturday adventure with Cream. It wasn't fun. I was kind of annoyed at myself here because I thought, A, why did I FOMO and then not just take a quick scalp? But B, have your orders working, all that. I actually had to take profits up at around 196 to front run 200. They didn't come in. But I escaped. Kept a cool head, woke up early Sunday morning just in the nick of time. So, thoughts on Cream, thoughts on fibs. Can I get a hell yeah in the chat if anyone here appreciates these fibs and is going to try them out? We have a video that briefly describes them. I'm not saying rush in and use real money all over these things, but please sign up on TradingView, Coinigy, wherever, not Coinigy. They've been doing beta for 10 years. Go to TradingView. And just get some fibs on your charts, guys. Have some fun with these. Yes. Thank you, boys. Appreciate that. Jackson, Paul, Iman, Jones. Yes. Let's get these fibs because it just saves you money. Like all of this, I was FOMOing so hard on Cream and I was just like, I can't buy that. I'm not allowed. It's against my rules. And sure enough, I get what I want. And then, escaping from my semi-bad FOMO add-on, using the fib. So let's get after this. How do you know where to draw it from peak? Yeah. Well, and so that's a really good question, Ali. So you have to move it with price. And sometimes, I've got it here because this was our peak. And then I might set my bids, right here. But then, made a new high. So that changes it and it moves up. Just, you know, and that's one of the downsides. Like, well, I wouldn't even say it's a downside. It's just one of the things you have to know. I'll give you an example of how I'm doing that right now on NEO, because I want more short on NEO. I'm pretty sure that, you know, taking my profit in this area is going to age poorly in the longer run if I don't get back in. Like, I just think that this whole move is going to come off and retrace eventually. I just do. Sue me. So, I mean, but we're at this level here, and there's definitely a level here, and that's part of why I wanted to lock in that profit. So how am I going to know where to get short again? I don't even know, actually. I'm not convinced that this RLZ will get the tags. I think cat's out of the bag now on the bear. So it might be the pump chaser inverted, aka the dump chaser. So it might actually be like that kind of a thing that I'm looking for. In fact, it is. So I will just keep that on there. So to your question, Ali, if this was here this morning, that was the fib. But let me get rid of this for now. But then it kept going. So I just keep dragging it. I don't know where the bottom of this move is, but there will be one. And it won't be zero. It'll be, you know, it'll be some pivot around here. Might actually be right here. That's probably the next one I'm looking at. If there's another little breakdown from here, and I bet that aligns with some sort of fib. Let's check it out. Get that low pivot. Take it back up to those highs. Got kind of a few lines in here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit here. Bing. Bing. Okay. So, yeah. I think if we're going to keep going down here, it's probably like a level right in here to align with that. And so if that comes in, I have to reset, you know, I have to drag this down until it aligns with wherever that bottom ends up being. And I'll know when it comes in because it'll hit there and it'll just stop going down, and then it'll come back up into here, hopefully. And I will have a new setup. So coming in here, maybe it makes a nice little hangout over the week, right? Apparently Powell has a thing on Thursday. Good old Jerome Powell, I think his name is. JP. So if he comes out Thursday after a big week of stinky dumpage and says something bullish about inflation and watering down the US dollar, then we may see this guy roll over, and we may see all of this. Let's use the CME. You know, maybe we get the gap fill by Thursday, and then it's just like Jerome Powell saves the day, talking about inflation and all this crap. But, you know, that's sort of my thinking. And then, you know, and then it's don't fall for this shit, though, because when it gets up in here, if it does, I'll be looking for those shorts. And so in a bear, shorting the bounce can be harder than buying the dip. Buying the dip is hard too, but shorting the bounce can be harder. And one of the things you got to look for, and we talked about it at the top of the show, so I'll bring it up just one more time, because this is clear as day. So if you can learn to spot this signal where you have a big dump, you're like, okay, was that it? Should I be buying the dip? Someone's buying the dip. Oh, someone is messaging me on the dip. Okay, so it's this bounce. So do I sell the bounce, or is this a reversal and I was just shaken out and I gotta, well, look at the volume, right? So on all of the bounces that we're gonna see in the next week or two, watch the volume, because this is bears in control. The bears are in charge. The bulls were in charge, but then they fell asleep. The bears woke up, and here they were, right? So volume analysis can really help you spot what's real, differentiate the bullshit from the real trend. So right now, the bears have announced they are here. So on these little moves up, whenever they come, wherever they are, like, fuck, I might miss it and it goes down here, but it will have a little trickle. And when it does, I'll have this fib drag down there. I will have my pump chaser zone right here, dump chaser in this case, and I'll have an opportunity to short. But on this move up, I don't want to see huge buy volume coming in, right? Someday that'll happen where we're going to reverse and have a proper uptrend again. But that'll be marked by volume. And so what I want to see is like this kind of stuff, like this shitty little buy volume where it's like, yeah, price went up, but the volume's just chilling down here. And then we're right up into that spot and you just get a boom, sell volume. So again, not cheering for downside, but I plan to trade what I see, and this is what I see coming. So let's just make some fucking money, shall we? Good application of volume impetus. Looks like you get it. Very tough concept. Oh, we got Brian Beamish in the house from the Rational Investor. If I knew you were watching, I would have been too scared to talk about volume impetus, but that's Brian's jam. So if you guys want to ask questions, here he is, the Rational Investor in the chat. Good to see you, brother. And that's, you know, I'm totally in awe of what Brian has discovered about this TA stuff, and he's been teaching me for a couple of years now. And it's clear as day here on Neo, and naturally, like even up on the 5-minute, we found that setup up here is so sick. So now I'm all smitten. I got Brian watching. Yeah, no, it's not an easy concept to get. In fact, when I took the program, it took me a year through the program. I didn't still quite get it, but after listening to you talk about it enough, I've apparently figured it out, because you know there's a whole 1, 2, 3 count thing that I didn't quite get still, but you can see it here. It's just the bear's waking up. So thank you. Appreciate it. Now, what about ETH? What do you think? Buy the bounce off the 4-hour chart 618 level. Let's take a look at ETH. I actually haven't charted it that much. I'll tell you what I think about ETH BTC, and you're not going to love it if you're a bull. Like this is the last stand, and we just lost it. That's what I think about ETH. I think I saw an interesting thread today about like how, you know, the fees killed the DeFi narrative and all this crap. I don't know about that like long term. I'm not buying the long term ETH bear thing where it's like it had its strengths and it died. I love that narrative because it's going to get me some really cheap Ethereum, and I plan to deploy a good chunk of my dry powder to Ethereum, hopefully in January. Historically, during the year, that is where it will bottom. And you know, this just looks like a chart that needs to be filled in, does it not? I mean, is anyone looking at, I mean, obviously the way I've drawn it up looks really bearish. You could probably find a bullet there that'll draw you a sexier one. You know, I mean, okay, so look at this. For the sake of argument, we're in the RLZ, long it. Like, you know, there's a few ways to skin the cat. But just looking objectively from this view, let's even go to the daily. That looks bearish. It just does. So ETH BTC, let's see. I think dominance we already talked about, but let's just look, because this will all come together, right? I think looking objectively at this chart after this confirmation I'm assuming we'll get today, it just looks like that's the next thing, right? We trended down, we trended up, we trended down, up, down, up. And then this is probably the dip to end all dips in altcoins. That's my 2 cents. Looking way in advance. It's an absurd thing to say at this point, but I love that thinking where we might get up here, tap this, really shit the bed. And that would align really well with Ethereum coming off. And like this is going to be violent, right? Like there's just nothing in here. That's going to be like a vacuum. Probably, you probably won't even get this. Well, that's actually just through October. You might get that. But it'll be fairly violent, I imagine, once these lows are lost in earnest. I mean, like right here, we still are technically kind of holding on to these. But if these go, quick and dirty. And so let's zoom out. That's pretty reasonable if you think about it, right? We had a huge bottom come in, breakout, consolidate, took months. We've been tracking it very closely. 56-day consolidation under resistance, breakout. And there's just a big, fat, bearish divergence. And now an M top. And it's just confirming today, probably, if it doesn't shoot up in the next 5 hours. And if it does, that's still not going to save the day, but it might get us a little bounce to short. But this needs to get filled in. If any TA analyst looks at this and tells me this looks bullish, I would say they're not doing their job. So those are my thoughts on ETH versus Bitcoin. So if I'm bearish on Bitcoin, which I am, unfortunately, for now, you know, in the midterm, very important distinction, very bullish on Bitcoin long term, then doubly bearish on ETH because I think it could roll over twice as hard, which we often see that in altcoins, right? We often see in altcoins that they kind of roll harder than Bitcoin does because everyone has to like A lot of them sell them to get to Tether and to Bitcoin. But let's pull up ETH USD. While I catch up with the chat, I don't want to get like so fired up that I don't even check in with you guys. Bitcoin up or down for the next 30 minutes. Ooh, damn. Mala Noni is looking for a scalp today. I'm a bear. Love this chart. Yeah. Jonesy, you will appreciate the things that Brian has to say in the chat. So nice to see you saying, "What up, Mr. TRI?" Now look. Yeah. So scalp long. So do you really, this is the thing, and this is kind of what I talked about in the trend video that I put out last week. You know, do you really want to be like looking for scalp longs in what is ultimately probably a larger bear move? It's definitely riskier. If I'm doing it, it's on less risk, 0.5%, 0.25%, which sounds unsexy, especially if you have a smaller account. But you know, it's even more unsexy, losing 5% of your account because you tried to long into a bear trend. Chew on that, because it's real talk, and until it happens to you, you can't understand the pain. I've been through it. Some of you probably have as well. Trend is your friend, blah, blah, blah. So I do think we could get a bounce here. Like I told you at the start of the show, I have longed Bitcoin on spot, just more of a buyback from what I sold up here. And I'll probably be looking to get it there. And that's just probably over trading, if anything. I think if I didn't work in crypto and it wasn't my job to be on the charts, analyst, trading, then I could go and chill for like a month or two probably and feel pretty comfy just holding on to summer gains and enjoying life. But I got a job to do. And so, you know, I'm going to be on the charts, going to be trading, going to be doing some analyst stuff, and probably making more videos for you guys too as I spend less time trading. My goal really through this window here is to get into some fairly decent short positions, maybe buying some puts, stuff like that. I'm not really an options guy. I'd much rather like a low leverage short, but you know, that kind of thing. And then just be comfy, not trying to scalp all the way through. Ideally, because when I'm in scalp trades and day trades and high leverage stuff, I have a hard time focusing. It's harder to do this. It is harder to do everything. So that's sort of my goal. I think the wheels are going to come off here. And so we'll just have to find some juicy entries and in some cases exits if you're still holding on to a good old bag that you don't want. Okay, here's a thought. If you're already scared of your bag right now and you're like, man, I should have sold. Well, I'm not going to sell. I should have sold. If you're already thinking like that, look for a bounce and maybe pull out. That's my non-financial advice. Because if you're thinking that here, and I'll use Neo. If you're thinking that up here and it bounces up to here and you're just like, nah, see, I'm fine. I told you. And then we just continue and you're like, well, I definitely can't sell now. And you get trapped, right? And I've been trapped in this. This was 2018 in a nutshell, right? And you're just like, well, you didn't sell here. It gets the bounce. You're thinking, well, maybe I was wrong and we're just going to bullish continuation, which is, again, always possible, but very improbable. And then we move down and you're like, well, I can't sell here because I didn't sell there and I didn't sell there. So now I just got to hold. We must be close to the bottom now. And this shit will drive you crazy. And it'll be here. Oops. Whoa. And every time it goes to a new low, you tell yourself, and I'm not talking to you guys as much as explaining how my 2018 went with a few of my bags, and you tell yourself, you know, well, I've come this far. I'm certainly not going to sell the bottom. And it will drive you fucking mental. And let's see, like, what does an RLZ? God, this chart is too inky. Let's make a copy so I can mess with it. I do have a point here I'm going to get to. Don't worry. First of all, we must close this off. So let's look at, like, this is almost like, yeah, DS. I wish someone told me this in 2017 too. Trust me, I did not do this in 2017. I learned, like everybody, the hard way. And so, you know, part of this stuff I like to come on here and just share. I'm not going to sit here ever and be like, I'm a perfect trader and I do everything just right, because that's just bullshit. Anyone who tells you that is trying to sell you something. And this show's free, and it always will be. So, you know, Just going to be here, humble as ever, to tell you all my fuck ups so you don't have to repeat them. Now, let's see, like, where is NEO on this RLZ? I mean, we've been doing this all day. It seems absurd, right? You tell someone about this, they're like, $8. Never going to happen. Cool story, bud. I'm not saying it will, but it could. Same with Cream. Guys told me, they said, never going to happen. It did. I can find you 1,000 other examples. So don't listen to people, like, never, like I said last week, never go to a community if you're looking for advice. Because they'll tell you about why NEO is going to be worth 100. And it might be someday, but God, same old story with them, right? It's always this like, oh, I love this blood, I can buy more. And it's like, okay, so they're buying more, they're buying more, they're buying more, they're buying more. And if you're copying them, you know, you drive yourself nuts. And back to the other story I was telling, basically, if you're here thinking, I wish I sold, you know, do or don't. I'm not here to give advice, but like, wait for bounces. They always come, even if it's to here and then it's just a bounce to there. At least you're getting out on a bounce, not a dump. It's a safer way, right? It's kind of like what Nick and I talk about with the throwback levels. So, you know, this is pretty Eiffel Towery, but at some point there will be a bounce, a relief bounce. It's not going to just be like this. I mean, again, could be, doubt it. Because if you're thinking here how scary it is and you're already thinking of selling, I'm sorry, guys, you will sell here. You will. You just will. The story will change. It's like alts are going to zero, and this will seem like a great exit because it'll seem like, oh, I'm going to save my money. So, you know, it gets into here and it just drives you nuts. I can't sell. I didn't sell before. Definitely not going to sell at the bottom. And then this will last. And it will last, and some other shitcoin will start going up a bit, and you'll want that one, and you'll say, wow, NEO's just let me down. And this is where everyone, not everyone, but like so many people will exit the market. And then we begin again. So cycles within cycles within cycles. And that reminds me that I want to show you guys that cycle chart. Let's look it up, because Binance put this out. And I think there's always like, everyone likes to have their takes on it, right? This is not bullshit either. This chart's so cool because it nails it. It nails it. Whoever made this chart needs a medal. So on the high time frames, right? Let's say 2017, 2018, 2019, right here, 2019, right? 2020. I agree with this. I think this is the disbelief suckers rally, right? You heard it all the way through that. So we're up here in Bitcoin, and you know, what's this? This was last summer. So, you know, was this the disbelief suckers rally? Continuation of that, whatever. This is like chopping it up. And so, yes, and as you can see here, this belief kind of ends with a big capitulation dump, if I'm reading this correctly. Maybe I'm not. Maybe this, whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, I think on the higher time frames, we are much more over here. But on the lower time frames, say, let's get the right chart to illustrate this. Let's just say Ethereum USD. On maybe like this mini cycle, I think we very much are right up here. This was what we just had in Bitcoin, in my opinion, right here. And you could see it in the volume. You could see it on the higher time frame divergences. I mean, there was a lot of signals. And it's actually good news if I'm right. You know, it's not about being right. This is just the way I'm going to trade it, and I'm sharing with you guys what I got. But if I'm right, then this is like going to age well, getting into some shorts up in this general area, not this exact pivot, right? But it's going to likely age pretty well as this, you know, if something like this goes on, something even as low as this chaos level down into this grossness. And that's where people will not, they're not going to sell, you know, right now they're like, well, I'm not selling, we're going to 30K. Well, by the time you get to 6, the bears are making all the noise. They're cocky as hell. The bulls are non-existent, right? They're quiet. I mean, most of them. And you're getting predictions and videos that are coming out and showing you these compelling harmonic objectives that point to 2K and 1K. And so, yeah, that's why people sell these lows, because they're reading things that tell them that those lows are actually highs and that they're going to even go lower. You don't have to get stuck in those difficult decisions if you can spot trend changes in markets. I guess that's the TLDR of today. And that's why I did that video, how to spot changes in trend. And I want to add to that. Thoughts on the KDJ indicator? You have to tell me what that one is. I'll tell you one indicator I do have. Trendmaster. Shout out to Trendmaster Pro. It's like $200 lifetime. I don't know. I bought this thing. It's like the only indicator I've ever bought. I don't use it religiously, but I do really like it. And let's see what it's saying. It's based on the Hikinashi chart. It basically gives you like a breakout color candle. And if the next candle breaks above that, then you can say there's an uptrend starting. You know, right here got washed out. Right here got washed out. So it's not perfect, but when the trends do come, it catches the entire thing. And it doesn't get you out of your trade. These little green lines are little Williams fractals, and it writes them on the chart for you. So, you know, quick shill on them. If you guys, you know, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I like this one because it's simple and, you know, gives you little stop losses. So I've never traded it, so I couldn't even tell you like on a paper trade exactly the way they've written it up, what its like results are. But it's a fun tool, and it just helps me see the trends sometimes for what they are. So right here is another breakdown alert candle. Let's see what ETH USD has. Yeah, so I mean, you know, fairly strong uptrends, but it did roll over. And again, I think we had a really nice slow chance to exit at a retest of these lows. And this is confirmation that we should have. And so if someone didn't, it's just wait for the next one. Wait for the next bounce. There will be one at some point. Selling bounces rather than selling dump days. Because if you sell a dump day, you're going to be tempted to buy it back on the bounce day. And that's how you just can get wrecked the whole way down, right? It's like, oh my God, sell. Oh shit, I was wrong. Buy it back. Oh fuck, sell it. Oh my God, I can't believe I sold the dip. Okay, I'll buy it back. Oh, right. And then you get washed out. It sounds funny, but it's scarily accurate. Super Guppy. Oh, not one that I'm familiar with. I've seen it. We could add it here. But I am not. Ooh, we getting a bounce here? I hope so. For the sake of my little spot buy. Let's take a quick peek at the charts on the low time frames because someone did ask about the 30 minutes. So let's, you know, it's a volatile day. Let's dive in a little closer and see if we can scalp some ideas. Yeah, look at that. So higher time frame, you've got this 886, which is super far away now because this chart is based on the 4 hour. So let's bring that in. Yeah, I mean, we're in the RLZ. So is this a place, again, higher time frame, a little bearish? So I'm not selling the farm here to buy, but I did buy back a chunk at spot. My stop loss is here. This to me confirms that we are probably in for a little bounce. This is the 15 minute. So we just got this market structure confirmed. And do I chase here? Definitely not. But could I try to snipe an entry like this? Yeah. If we're going to have a little chop city, if this was the market structure confirmation, then now it's time for me to think about a dip, not about a chase, because I won't have the hands to hold through a dip on this kind of a chart because I'm just going to assume it's dumping. So I have to buy that dip. I can't like buy here and then where's my stop loss? All the way down here, right? And if you think it's going to be violent, you could use even like at least using a pump chaser to get into that. So you're basically just buying the breakout. Yeah. So maybe it's like, oh, wow. Where's my brush? There we go. Maybe it's like this. If there's a long in here and then it's about, yeah. So, I mean, this is a nice little bounce and you're going to get these, right? So it's, you know, seeing this stuff in advance really helps you plan how you're going to react to it or be prepared ahead of time for it. I do anticipate a bounce here. Obviously, we're seeing it now, but that's why I bought my spot back. But that's fancy stuff. You know, if you're not doing this stuff full time and you got kids and like dinner's downstairs and everyone's like, oh my God, get ready. Like, you just don't have time for that shit. Find a higher time frame bounce like over the next few days. Then ask yourself how much you want to secure of what you made in the summer if you had a good summer. Today is not the day to, I'm just going to hold forever. And then today you're like, actually, I'll sell. That's just reacting to negative price. Don't do that generally. Guppy is moving averages. Yeah, no, I've seen the Guppy. It's a moving average kind of bundle. It's actually a beautiful looking indicator. I bet. Where's Neo? Let's just slap it on here. I wonder if it's free. Guppy? Yeah, okay. I mean, I've seen it. It's a gorgeous chart. It's probably not the one I want. There's some really nice looking ones. Anyone who brought that up, did you have anything in particular about the Guppy you wanted, or you just wanted my take on it? Because I think it's a great chart. I've heard the weekly Guppy and higher time frames are like really accurate as higher time frame moving averages. But let's see if there's a popular free one here. Well, it's got 3,600 people that like it. Let's check that out. Close the first one. Get rid of my ink. Whoa. See, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, so I don't know what these sagging wicks are. On the fly, I don't want to sit here and be like, I know the Guppy. I've just seen it a lot on charts and I like it. It's just moving average super bundles and probably gives cleaner signals than just a simple moving average cross would be my guess. And it just looks cool. So we're tapping the midline of this one. Nope. That's my EMA. Never mind. No, it's still their midline. So, yeah. I guess you could say offhand, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, oh, maybe this just means we're in the bullish half of the Guppy. So don't panic. Close my Neo short, which I did. Hunt for the bounce, which I will. Guppy confirms. This is what I'm looking for. And if that comes in, it's going to be great. If it gets washed out, well, that's okay too. Give some back when we're back to the bull. I would actually kind of prefer that. Tradingview subscription is best value. It's an easy answer for me, and I'll tell you why. Okay, first of all, you can upgrade Tradingview while you're in it. So if you just want to get pro because you're like, I want some of the tools, I think one of the add-ons is you can have more of these. So instead of having like 2 charts, which can be useful, lining up above each other. I know some traders who really like to put out like 6, and they don't have all these indicators, so it's not as messy, but they might just have like some pure price charts. They can see like all currencies on one thing, like yen and British pounds and all that. And you can have a little more flexibility with all that with Tradingview Pro, I believe. Fuck it. Let's pull up their page. I actually haven't looked at it in a while. Should we? No. Accounts and billing. I don't want to pull anything up on stream just in case it's like sensitive information. I will tell you this though. The second I realized that I could only have 10 price alerts on whatever it is, like the one just below premium, I said, okay, I'm getting premium right away. And those price alerts are worth every penny. I went hard. I bought like a 2-year advanced subscription on Black Friday. So if you guys can and you're thinking about diving into Tradingview, first of all, Black Friday is coming up kind of soon, and they usually just give you like sick deals, like 50% off. So my 2 cents is try to wait for that, at least maybe for the big buy. If you want to get a little pro subscription and slide in there, nothing wrong with that. Probably great idea. And, I always say no time like the present for learning new things, especially if we are in a bit of a pivot in the market. You want to be learning and thinking and focusing. But if I was going to go out and buy like a 1 or 2 year to get the really cheapest deal on premium, I would wait for Black Friday. Hope that helps. Actually, fun fact, a little premature here. We may be able to give out some TradingView subscriptions in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. Stay tuned. Spoke to their team last week, and We're going to be doing a little work with them. Might even get one of their guys onto the show with us to talk markets. Talked to him Friday. He said, yeah, I'm in. So stay tuned for all that. But don't wait on that. But that's a pretty sweet deal too. And then I think closer to Black Friday, what is that for you Americans? Like November? Y'all Americans. And that'll be probably a really nice deal on that. So depends on whether you are a trader or an investor. Yeah. Short-term trader, the most expensive. Yeah, Paul J confirms. If you're really into trading, I mean, the other thing is with stocks, you don't get real-time data unless you pay for the add-on, which is pretty typical in stock market town. So, any other altcoin thoughts? Uni, ANKR, Trib, ETH. Nice. Okay, let's get after it. Let's dive into turbo mode, and I'll try to keep these a little more concise, I think. For the guys who didn't ask about a certain coin, it's like, oh, he's still talking about friggin' Uni, bro. This thing was picture perfect. Actually, happy to say on Friday, if you were watching, you might have got a little nudge to get the fuck out because we came right into all these fib extension levels. It was pretty nutty. And as you can see, what happened? I actually missed my short on this, and that happens with this fib stuff I'm teaching. Like right here, I had it from the highs. I had it, oh God, thank you, Magnet. I had it down to the lows. So this high, I can probably get rid of some of these. So from this high to this low was the dump. And I wanted to get short up in that short RLZ, which you can see here. And I had my order at the 702. So ask me how I feel about that, because that got front run by a smidget. About 12 cents. I had a fat leveraged short order. I had another one here, and I had my stop loss here, and I missed it completely. So whoops. It's part of the gig, Like I sometimes I go 618, 702, 76, but for this one it had been so bullish. I thought I want to get more size, so I'm going to be even chintzier. So maybe it was my greed. But Uni's not looking great, but I'll tell you where it is looking. If you guys can already see where it's sitting, isn't it? I bet it is sitting right in the reload zone. Yeah, there it is, right on the sweet spot. So it's back into an area where I would look for a long. I'm not looking for a long on it, but it's in the location. Didn't really get any divergence. The RSI and MACD made lower lows on this move down. And let's not forget the cost basis for this coin on whole is 0. So where do you put your bottom in? How do you value it? ETH fees went astronomical. Uniswap suddenly looking like, iteration 1.0 of something that perhaps there's a bearish narrative there as far as the cost of doing business there is too high. Binance Smart Chain now is coming along. It's faster and cheaper, obviously a little less decentralized. I'm not super bullish on Uniswap. I think if I was, this is a great place to be looking for longs because it's right on the sweet spot and you can just see like big come out, fall off. You're going to want to see I would rather see a big buy come in. So woo. And then it's okay, hunt that retrace. But this move, if there is a breakout, it has to be big buy volume. You need this trend to reverse. So if there's a big flurry of buying activity that starts to come in here, I will change my tune. Right now, I see a top being put in the market and lack of interest. But I love that location, right on the sweet spot. So you want to be a day trader? Go for a little scalpy. This happens a lot. So yeah, could be some nice consolidation stuff going on in here, and I bet there will be because that's just the way the whales like to play. Shake them up, shake them up, shake them out. 2 cents on Uni. What else we got? Oh, swap. Oh my God, I haven't looked at swap in a while. Oh my God, we are an hour and a half into the stream, guys. I was like, we're coming up to the top of the hour. So I do want to turbo through these because I don't want to run it too long for those who come to rewatch. If you guys are still here with me and you're enjoying this content, say so. Maybe we'll stretch it out a little bit. I got nothing better to do. Just going to be hanging out here looking at charts anyways. Yeah, sick tap right at this 55 cent level, which I've had drawn up from this old stilt. You know, don't know about this one. I mean, I really like swaps. So again, DCA, actually, this is probably a place where I want to do a little DCA. Dollar cost average. Buy my first little bit back. Because I sold the last of my pre-sale up here when this M top failed. So right away, even if it keeps going down from here, I could call this a successful trade and just start slowly adding to my position if we do taper off a little more. Quick thoughts on swap. Oh, NYAN. I do remember doing this one, but I don't remember what chart it was. I feel like it must be on ChartX then. Real new coin. Let's take a look. Falcon Swap, great analysis. Thank you. Yeah, Andre, appreciate it. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Uni. Okay, NYAN does have a chart. Look at that on ChartX. Slow, not that great, but thank you ChartX because you have everything on. Just takes a little while to move. I think it's because they read the APIs directly from Uniswap, so it gets bogged down in high fee times. Yeah. Okay. Who mentioned NYAN? Because I do remember this chart, and as a joke, I think I said something like it was up here, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'd be looking for something down here. And you jokingly said like, yeah, I sold all. Was that in the trading pit? Please confirm. But yeah, so there you go. Right into that sweet RLZ. I'd have to set it up a little better, which I don't know is worth our time. Doesn't take too long, but whatever. I missed one. 786. Oops. 786. 0.886. Blue. Teal. Green. Gray. All right. So that's a quick and dirty on me setting up my little fib, which I think I've done 1,000 times because ChartX doesn't save it. Yeah. Okay, who was that? Thoughts on chart? Yeah, do they have their own token now? Nostradamus level of prediction with the way it played out so far. Oh, okay. Do I want to toot thus horn? I did say something about NYAN. I do remember that. It's not too far back here. I just got the trading view. But yeah, you'd have to search it. I remember that because I said this exact thing. It's kind of like, okay, let's get a little pullback. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a search party. I don't know. John, if you want to check that out in the trading pit, I'd love to see that chart. I put a squiggly on it and everything, and it was something to this effect. It was up here, and I basically just did the same thing with the RLZ. Just said, yeah, you know, probably just going to come back into this RLZ. So I'm not surprised if he's like, well, that's Nostradamus-like, but, you know, is it that impressive with what you guys have seen? It's just what I'm used to now. Like, chill out, pull back into the RLZ, and then get interested. So I'm glad that worked out for you, Jackson. And that wasn't even like this is what will happen. It was more just like this is where I would become interested, and that's an important distinction because I don't need it to come down here for me to be satisfied. It's just if it does, well, I find that interesting. Now I'm ready to buy or whatever. What the hell is NYAN anyways? Oh, it's a finance coin, and it's got no market cap. So yeah, could be cool. 33,000 supplies, so that's like a YFI clone probably. Oh, don't need you. Yeah, oh, it's one of these. Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But the chart looks interesting. Definitely into an interesting location. So, Yeah, don't know where to find that NYAN one, but let's do a couple more, and then we'll wrap for today, guys. Nick will be back on Wednesday. He and I will be back Friday, and you can expect to see a couple of videos coming in from me early this week, well, mid-week probably. Part 2 of how to spot a trend reversal, probably just in the nick of time or a day late. We'll see, based on this current trend on Bitcoin. But I do want to fire, I think we had 1 or 2 more quick requests. So Trib. Trib is one I know Messi streamed a lot about last night. I did catch the chart. It looked like it was really bullish. So that's good news for anyone holding that. But I do not know much about it. Oh, it's not as bullish. That's not bullish at all. Where did I see it? I swear I saw a different chart. So I might be crazy. No, I was on my phone and I looked up Trib on ChartX. Maybe it was this climb up because I was looking at a 5-minute or something. But ChartX is slow, so I'll see you guys tomorrow and we'll reconvene then. Just kidding. Let's get into ANKR while that thing loads. ANKR. Couple more quick ones before we go, guys. Let's see. Tether? You guys want to chart it versus Tether? Generally speaking, when Bitcoin dominance is in like a bullish move where it's kind of taking over, I want to chart things, when Bitcoin versus USD is trending down, I want to chart things versus USD. When it's trending up, I want to chart things versus Bitcoin. That's my general rule. Okay, look, say, and now, right, every chart's starting to look the same right now. And that's not random. It's not like suddenly everyone, for different reasons, lost a flavor for their coin. It's just the market is moved by the movers of the market, and they've decided to distribute, and they will reload. And where will they reload? Probably in the reload zone. So while everyone today is waking up to the fact that the party is over, they're reorganizing their life. They're reorganizing their portfolio. The whales that pushed the market up here, for the most part, well, they probably didn't buy it all up here, but you know, the guys who put in this bottom and reversed it, public comes in, buys all their bags, they distribute, they dump, then they just pull the carpet, they pull the rug out, they stop filling the books and, you know, buying everyone, and then it just drops. And then down here, sadly, Johnny Public, guys like us who don't know all this stuff, end up capitulating their bags, selling out, blah, blah, blah. That's a really ugly line, but they get down into there, and guess who's right there waiting, putting in support, buying it all back. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. More Bitcoin, more USD for me / them. So my goal as a trader is just to be as much like them as possible. Spot the signals like this. This was a really powerful signal. Sure, it was just a rally and then it dumped. It actually even dumped through the March thing, but like this was like, okay, buyers suddenly are interested at this level. You guys see that? That's valuable stuff, knowing that. So spotting the volume. And sure, it was boring as hell. I mean, this was February 2020. It didn't really get exciting until June. Can you hold a position that long? Was there a setup in here to start thinking about getting long? I think, you know, these are the kinds of things to learn now because, like I said, bottoms take a while to form, so you don't have to learn it today. Probably, who knows how ugly this will get, but yeah, you probably have, I still think, till January for any real bottom. And then just like we bottomed last January was here, that's what I expect something like this year, hopefully, so that I'm actually ready for it this time. And it didn't really get rip-facey until summer, spring, right? So, guys, time, patience, we got this. We're going to get there. So, those are my 2 thoughts. Yeah, okay. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. So, this, okay, so that's the chart I put out for NYAN. So maybe we got 1 new sub today because, and that's all it is. Like, I don't care for personal, like, oh, that guy, he's so smart. I don't want that. What I do want to do is, like, you know, grow the account, help people understand this shit, get some you know, people have told me, like, why do you just tell everyone all your strategies? I'm like, I don't think that there's a chance that the market's going to shift because everyone knows what I've done. I don't think that I'm that, you know, people are like, nobody gives away true alpha. It's like, I do. Maybe it's ignorant. I just give away whatever I have. So this is pretty sick. I like that. Let's go check it out. Let's toot the horn for a sec. But it's less about that. And it's really just like, I want someone to be convinced that these work purely for the sake of them then going and using them. I mean, did that come in or did that come in? That's pretty sick. You know, I find this shit fascinating and I get excited by how well it works. And obviously I get excited by seeing my own trading improve and getting to make some money and take an unpaid leave from a job that I, you know, was less excited about than this. And I want that for everyone who has the time and the patience to tune in and watch and learn. So that's hype. Look at that. I'll take it. Taking the bow. Not a bad little squiggly. Right in, actually, was it? Yep, right to the 6. Okay, 786. Guys, it's, you know what's crazy is I can't even say that's like, oh, that's never going to, like, that's going to happen all the time. These little tags of these kinds of levels. It's just amazing. So appreciate that somebody caught that one. Okay. Couple more. Why not? We're on fire today. Let's check it out. Trib. Oh yeah, back to Trib. It didn't load. Sorry guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm a noob. I mean, if that's the Trib chart, then there's really not a lot, unfortunately, to say. It's just a stable coin at this point. Messi had a stream last night. It's on his Twitter. You can rewatch it. He had a ton to say about Trib from what I gather. And I saw a lot of the comments on that video of people saying, you know, great show. Thanks for all that info on Trib. So if you're really keen for that and you didn't see it, highly recommend you check that out. We should have it posted on our YouTube. Check in with my producer after the show, but I think he's going to have it up here for you as well. This is just, yeah, just chilling. Don't know. I know. DS says first time to see without the baseball hat. Man, I don't know where it is. I lost it. I was looking to wear it yesterday. I was going to go out and I was like, where's my hat? It's going to suck on Monday. So new hat incoming. I'm not even much of a hat guy, but I like wearing it with these headphones. So thank you for calling me out, bro. But yeah, no, it's definitely hatless Monday. Davos on DREP. What's your take on it? Okay. Let's pull up DREP, which is DREP, something to do with Augur Republic. I think it's called that. DREP. So is that versus Bitcoin or versus... versus Bitcoin doesn't look too bad. Right in the RLZ. Yeah, bullish. Wow. Okay. I forget the exact criteria for the Davo. I know I just had it on as an indicator like 2 years ago. But it's something like a whole bunch of divergences and W's, and he actually has a full indicator for it. Okay, so Brian always likes to say, and I think he's still here watching, he always likes to say there's always a bull somewhere. And I think that that's true. And so it's very easy to get my bear goggles on and then forget that there's probably a decent chart out there. My take on this one right off the bat, if I was going to be long, is that like this is my target. I'm not trying to ride it to new highs. I don't think we're in a new highs kind of market for most things unless they announce like Google partnerships and their 1 mil market cap kind of thing. But yeah, like could totally see that happening. And you know, where's your exit? Where's your take profit? Probably a decent little fib extension here. Yeah, right up into that same zone. So if this is your marker for where we're headed, nice buy came in. Retrace. It's actually a decent setup. All this bearishness, and I forgot to check the charts. Look at that. Parked in the RLZ. After a little W comes in, confirmed on volume. Bullish divergence confirmed on the MACD really at the end of July. This is like Consolidation Nation. And is there a setup in there? I think we're at a level. Probably risk to that low. It's a little excessive to go there. It's 30%. I'd probably take the 22 at this 88.6. Can I get 4 to 1? No, I can get 3 to 1 though. Not really my style, but 3 to 1 is not too bad. You can get away with a few losses in there and still make money. 4 to 1 would be up to here, not out of the question. Huh. Yeah, just my opinion. Either way, but Drep. Yeah, that's the thing. Rational Investor in the chat here, it's a tough time of year to be spending. And I agree, and that's sort of my thing. I'm just sitting in Tether and like I'm doing some scalps, looking mostly to short bounces. But this is exactly what I would look for in an alt if I was in that season. So this is actually a good, we'll just swing back to this. This is why I created this chart, because it tells me when I want to take trades like this and maybe when I just don't. But, you know, could I take this on a 0.25% risk? So 22% of my portfolio, 22% on this trade. So I have to make sure that if I lose 22% of whatever I put into this, it's only going to hit my portfolio for like a couple $100 or whatever 0.5% is. So yeah, would I do that on this? Sure, why not? Take a shot. Trader's got a trade. There's going to be a bull somewhere. And this has all the markings of a setup. If it was in like a risk on window where this is like bull trend central, like I basically just have to close this. So right here, let's do it. You know what? Let's do it. Sure enough that I'm going to just say, sorry, but we are in risk off. And I think I can get rid of these. So it's been 124 days. And tonight, in 4 hours, I imagine that this will stay above here. If it doesn't, I will come back and say, sorry, super bear. But yeah, we're into a risk-off window. I am personally already. Have been for a week or so just because the alt charts were telling me things before this even did. But yeah, once you see this switch over into risk-off, I'm less excited about these setups. But that is a setup right there. That's actually probably... I feel like that's probably going to actually play out, but we'll see. I will save this chart and I'll write it down and we'll come check it out on Friday. How's that? Because I mean, it's been sitting in this consolidation for about a month and a half. So can we get 4 days? Let's see if we come and look at it. And what is this? Like this, if it was drawn this way, that's going to go right up to the election. So great shout, Brian. Thanks for dropping by with that, because I think you're right. I think that's just the right setup. Yeah, nasty W. This shows Bitcoin is about to come out and party, and whether that's just alts failing beside it, right? Like we have with Ethereum. I think Bitcoin could go down or move sideways and still gain in dominance if Ethereum is going to shit out here, which I think it will. So, not to get too bearish, guys. I think, you know, bullish, bearish doesn't have to be depressing as long as you are positioned for it, prepared for it, watching for it, you know, hedging risk, capturing gains. And today might just be that wake-up call to say, oh, shit, we're not in a rip-roaring bull. We're not at a blow-off top kind of situation where we're going to, you know, I need to get a little more serious about managing my positions. And I don't think it's out of the question that we get some kind of squeeze play here. And if we don't, and we make a new low, will there be divergence? And then from there, we can get a little squeeze play. And maybe I end up getting into my short at this same level, but at least it's on an exhausted bounce rather than like an overextended dip. If there's anything else to take away today, it's those little differences that I think are important. Be okay with it going lower without you, because you know, just like the way up, there's always dips. The way down, there will always be bounces. I mean, unless it's like rug pull, bankrupt company, hurts, 500% bounce. Like there almost always is going to be a zigzag. So getting on the right side of the zigzag, I think it's sell the bounce season, possibly heading into that instead of buy the dip. I'm sticking to it 280, drag the rest. 280, load your bags. Yeah, okay. We should wrap because I appreciate we got a few great ideas flowing in here. But eventually there's a rewatch value that just tapers off like an old option. So, but I do want to take a look at the high time frame of Ethereum. That's what we're going to do it. And then we'll wrap on that. Because that's the one I'm very bullish on in general. Oh, let's look at the long open interest. God, could talk all day. Wow. Long open interest actually went up. Chadwell, is that you buying the blood? Interesting. I would have been almost sure that this rolled over here. Wow. Okay, I have to reassess. I'm a bull. No, but just kidding. But like, that is interesting. I cannot believe that the long open interest just pumped today on this dip. It would align with the pattern we've spotted here, but this was like bearish divergence, big dump. I was sure that I would have found this rolled over. Interesting. Yeah, 280 will be great discounted alts. I agree. If I mean, hell, if this level comes in on Ethereum, you know, the thing I just don't want to see alts lose their lows. If alts lose their lows, that's like a lot of hard work gone. Do it again. Like Stratus comes to mind. I mean, these guys, these poor community members, you even see it. I put it on the chart. So that's like a 1 year accumulation phase. Too much mess in here. Let's go get rid of it. Not that one. So like, this is a huge accumulation phase. And poor Stratus, you know, it failed to get out of this range. So I guess you could say it's still in it. You know, where you want to draw that, I don't know. But the point is, this thing got rocked, obviously, like everything. And so, yeah, if you lose these lows, it sucks a lot. Because that means you have to now work on putting a whole new base in. Now, one thing to watch for is if we lose these lows and there isn't some massive influx of sell volume, that's going to actually be a sweet-ass signal. That's going to be like the bears completely fell asleep. There was just no sellers left. Probably going to be like turtle soup, fake out, and we're just back on. But yeah, losing these massive, like higher time frame weekly lows versus Bitcoin is not going to be cool at all for alts. That's going to suck a lot. So I hope that doesn't happen. I assume it won't happen, but I've been wrong before. But keep an eye on this kind of thing. Wow, already at the 886 on like day one. That's not a great look. So we'll see what kind of bulls come in. They definitely took interest at these levels, you can see. So yeah, there's a do or die level coming up here for Stratus pretty soon. Probably down like, yeah, a lot of coins like this, where there's going to be some decent opportunities to risk to those lows, because like they're such epically, like that's a pretty big base. So why not risk against it? And if it gets swept, buy it right off the break back in. There's going to be some pretty sweet trades there, because like your asymmetric upside, right? If you did catch that, like, it's going to be intense. I concur. The nerve of them to ask for bankruptcy executive bonuses. They got a grit. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Damn. Oh, Hertz was a global company before you were looking up charts. Yeah. Rivs. I literally just threw Hertz out because it's a company that declared bankruptcy and then pumped 500%. I have no idea who they are, what they do. So don't take it personally. I'm sure they're really cool. Yeah, no, it was more of a meme mention because they kind of, then like another company went bankrupt after that, and it pumped just because people were like, things pump when they go bankrupt. It was just the Robinhood craze of, I guess, what, May, June, July. But yeah, don't take it too personally. Crypto Twitter buying the deeps. Yeah, so let's see, guys. I could honestly hang out all day. I think we should wrap. We're coming up on 2 hours. So lots to talk about today. Hopefully got some value in there for you guys so you can walk away and say that was time well spent. You know, yeah, I'm calling bounce here. I think for my own account, I took the spot long, not at the low obviously, but like somewhere up around 10,400 for Bitcoin, and we'll see. I got my stop loss at the lows. I'm looking for a bounce, and I am certainly looking to get back into a neo short, because this is just one that I am, I'm not in my short anymore, and I miss it already. So if I can get up into this dump chaser, maybe that's like up here. That seems reasonable, because we got some highs here that, we got some levels here that coming up into those might make sense. And so I'm going to definitely just blindly re-add part of what I closed of my short there. That was part of the idea. But then I will look to add size if I can get more confirmation, like weak ass volume, bearish divergence, and all that. So, no, I know, Rivs. I know, I'm just messing with it. You can never tell through text. I just want to make sure you're not like, this guy, my favorite company. Fear and greed, people not in pain yet. Yeah, I agree, Fuzzy Bid. Not in pain yet. I don't think this is the bottom. So when I say I'm calling bounce, that's not me, I put all my spot exposure back on just for Bitcoin, just straight, tether back to spot. But that's a trade. It's essentially like a leverage trade, but it's 1x leverage. So if anything, it's like on the more boring side. And we'll see where this bounce takes us. Violent dump, violent bounce usually. Not out of the question to get up into here. Not at all. If we're super bearish, probably just up into this pump chaser, dump chaser. Obviously, I want to get short higher. And in doing so, I risk missing. So you have to be strategic. How do you do that? What do you watch for? And I'll be tracking a lot of this on my Twitter at randomtask555 and on our Twitter at Real Hero Labs. So if you're not following either of those, I don't do any live trading on Hero Labs account. Obviously, it's pure analysis and news. But when I get into some trades, I usually more and more lately, I'm making an effort to put them out on my Twitter just because, I want to do a little more tweeting on my own account as well. So check out that. I will certainly remember to update if we get up into these levels, and just remind people who are listening that this is probably not a place to get bullish again. Probably a place to look for bearish divergence, volume drop off. And quick final reminder, Scott Melker on the stream with me next Monday. We're going to be talking charts. We're going to be talking markets and all kinds of fun stuff. Wendy O coming up the week after that, October 5th, I believe. And yeah, more of that kind of stuff to come soon. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you appreciate the stream today, hit me with a sub, hit us with a like, and drop some comments. This is what I learned today, or this is something I wish you would have talked more about, or blah, blah, blah. Feedback is important. We read all of it and we take it seriously, and we may evolve based purely on what you have to say. So hit us with that. And whatever you do, let me set up my outro here. Whatever you do, guys, for the rest of this week, always remember to play from a position of strength. Use the fibs, find the trade stuff, and let's crush this market together. Whatever way it's going, we're going to do it. So have a great day, guys, and I'll see you on Friday. Cheers.